All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a really powerful piece of work, Mamang Dai's Small Town in the River. It's one of those poems that just sticks with you. It poses this fascinating idea that there's something profound, something almost death-like, in the stillness of a small town. It's a cornerstone text in Indian literature, absolutely packed with meaning, and we're gonna pull it all apart today.
So the poem just throws you right in with this incredible opening line, "Small towns always remind me of death." Whoa. I mean, talk about a hook, right? It's a complete paradox. You think small town, you think quiet, maybe even peaceful, but Dai connects it straight to mortality. It immediately sets this really somber, kind of mysterious tone and makes you wonder, why? What is it about this calm place that brings up such a heavy feeling?
So, to get to the bottom of that, here's our game plan. We'll start with the poet herself and the world she's writing from. Then we'll do a close reading, going stanza by stanza. After that, we'll zoom out to look at the core themes, dig into the literary devices she uses, and finally wrap up with the poem's lasting message. First up, introducing the poet and the poem. Let's talk about this incredible voice from Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so who is Mamang Dai? Well, she was born in 1957 in Arunachal Pradesh, and this is absolutely central to her work. She's part of the Adi tribe. And trust me, that's not just a fun fact. Her entire worldview, this deep, ingrained connection to nature, it's the lifeblood of her poetry. I mean, she's also a former civil servant, a journalist, a passionate conservationist, and she's got the awards to back up her incredible talent, like the Padma Shri and the Sahitya Academy Award. Her voice is a really, really important one. All right, next section, the poem's world. Because with this poem, context is absolutely key. So, picture this. Arunachal Pradesh. We're talking mountains, rivers, tribal communities. This place isn't just a pretty background in the poem. It's practically a character in its own right. And this is where her Adi heritage comes in again. The Adi people hold a belief called Pantheism. Basically, it's the idea that God and the universe are the same thing, that nature itself is a living divine presence. It's not just a bunch of trees and rocks. It's alive. So you see, when Day says the river has a soul, she's not just being poetic. For her, that's a literal truth, a core part of her culture. It changes how you read everything. Okay, now that we've got that crucial background, let's get into the poem itself. We're going to go stanza by stanza to really deconstruct this narrative. So we're back to that haunting opening. The first couple of stanzas really build this atmosphere of, well, death and ritual. She talks about how the town is always the same, just calm, summer, winter, doesn't matter. And then she brings in this image of a funeral, looking at the sad wreath of tuberoses on a dead man, and she lands on this key idea. People die, lives are short, but only the rituals are permanent. This is where that first paradox really hits home. Why does something unchanging remind her of death? Well, think about it. What is life? It's movement, it's change, it's growth. This town, though, is static. It's stuck, and Dyer layers in these incredible symbols to drive it home. You've got dust, dust to dust, and this howling wind that just creates this sense of gloom. It's the stark contrast between our temporary, fleeting lives and these traditions that just go on and on forever. And then, bam, the poem pivots. We move away from the static, deathly town, and suddenly we're focused on the river. And she doesn't mess around, she just says it. The river has a soul. It's not just a body of water, it's alive. It feels things. It cuts through the land in summer like a torrent of grief. And it possesses this ancient knowledge. It knows about the immortality of water. So here it is, the poem's central engine, this massive contrast. Dai uses personification to make the river a living being. It has a soul, it grieves, it can even hold its breath. It's all about dynamism and power and movement. So you've got the town on one side, representing stillness and death, and on the other, you have the river, symbolizing life, eternity, and the endless cycles of nature. It gets it. It knows it's immortal. Next, the poem kind of shifts into the past, into memory. The speaker thinks back to childhood, and what does she connect it with? These beautiful, pure images from nature, from the first drop of rain on dry earth and the mist on the mountaintops. But then it snaps back to the present. Just the other day, someone died. And this leads to another one of those killer lines. Small towns grow with anxiety. So what's going on in this section? Well, childhood is painted as this perfect, sacred time, a shrine of happy pictures, where you're totally in sync with nature. But then you grow up, the town grows, and with that growth comes anxiety, a sense of being cut off from that natural world.
And check out this beautifully metaphor she slips in. The cool bamboo is like the human body, and the sunlight that restores it, that's life, that's the soul. All right, we've done the close reading. Now, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. What are the core themes, the big ideas driving this whole poem? It really all boils down to this one major conflict, this powerful contrast. You've got the transient town versus the eternal river. The town stands for death, stillness, anxiety. It's all about how human life is temporary. But the river? That's life, movement, immortality. It represents the endless permanent cycles of nature. This clash is everything in the poem.
And woven into that main conflict are some other really important themes. First, memory and tradition, the idea that rituals are permanent even when we aren't. Then there's nature and identity, this sense that the speaker is the landscape she comes from. And of course, the whole thing is just a deep, beautiful meditation on mortality, on life, death, and what comes next.
So how does she pull all this off? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of her literary craft, the actual tools of the poet. This is where you can really see the genius at work. Okay, the big one here is personification. We've talked about it already, but let's define it. It's giving human qualities to things that aren't human. For Dai, this is way more than just a fancy trick. It's fundamental. It's how she makes the entire natural world feel alive and purposeful. I mean, the river has a soul is the most obvious example, but you also see it with the wind howling down the gorge. That's something an animal or person does. And even the town gets it when she says it can grow with anxiety. By doing this, every single part of the landscape becomes a character in this huge, epic drama. And there are a few other key devices you should definitely have on your radar. You've got metaphor, like when the cool bamboo stands in for the human body. There's simile, which is a direct comparison using like or as. Remember, like a torrent of grief? Then there's imagery, language that just lights up your senses, like the mist on the mountaintops. And finally, antithesis, which is just a fancy word for putting opposites together, like life and death, to really highlight that core conflict.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We're at the conclusion now, and we have to ask, after all this talk about death and anxiety, where does the poem actually leave us?
What's amazing is that in the final stanza, the whole tone shifts. It moves away from all that gloom and into a space of hope, of peace. Dai describes this ritual where the dead are placed pointing west so that the soul can walk into the golden east. It ends with this beautiful universal idea. We all want to walk with the gods. It's this profound desire for a peaceful afterlife, for a reunion with something eternal, something far beyond the little anxious town. And so the poem leaves us chewing on this massive question. What is the ultimate relationship between humanity and nature? Maybe, just maybe, the answer isn't in the towns we build, full of anxiety and stillness. Maybe it's in finding our way back to the river, back to the eternal, living cycles of the natural world. It's a powerful thought to end on. Thanks so much for diving into this with me.